In this portfolio, we will start with explaining each of the activities we take part both in the book and notebooks. Firstly, what's seen was the structures of writing skills and vocabulary skills. These do understand what we will in the part. Subsequently, these evaluation criteria are given in the regular plan, weighting each of the activities to be undertaken. First, we start talking about the activities on the notebook, which carry a small first introduction question about we were and we gone on holiday. Later, in order you know already navigates, we conducted a series of questions that allows you know that were interest both read and how we did. Later, teacher instructed users a rented book in Ponquinyola in order to perform a reading a book your interest and a specific collection of books. In class, we are asked to to, identify the parts of the book and not use if not our colleagues to exercise these characteristics such as title, author, page of preface, and introduction, among other things. By giving B-mates the activity as task that will identify the main idea of each paragraph of the book. So we had to read each paragraph and write the main idea. The look was left. In the present, the activity class carried coexistent roles were signed by you and our parents. Do you know that we were aware of these rules? In the class, we met in two persons. Then asked were from a rain delivered on a piece about the history of cocoa. Would conduct the interview of acts and opinions and would conduct a series of questions to exercise and writing ability. A class peculiar exercise in which we made a from certain priors, we infer cause from analysis. In order do you know the various methods of writing research in which definition will look for skimming, scanning, inferring, fact and opinion, and inferring to many, was made, which you serve in the various activities that we realize. The following activity is performed as an activity of the book, on which what makes you happy in the activity will conduct a mental map about topic that will express each concepts that make this topic. Because in class, according to checklist, we will a presentation approach of the holiday was performing equipment in many parts of the world. We are asked to make a summary of each of them, as they wanted to see what has been learned in each. Later, a crossword, which was revision in class according to checklist, which will use certain vocabulary and define it according to some research was conducted. Then a timeline was conducted from writing of the time about the Kingdom of Bhutan and historical events. In the next class, team developing a paragraph which contains a number of words included in the glossary at was made. According to an activity of the book about a trip to Venice, we worked at the pros and cons of living in the society like to analyze everything was. Waiting the same class, a series of questions to analyze how well understood the video and couple traveling Venice we are made. Among the last activities on the subject of money, some phrases which interpreted the coin ideas were written. Final was identification of pronouns, adjectives, and adverbs in a text to identify this grammatical resource. Ahora salió mi nota. Bueno. Dry want to start some question about the happiness is performed. The first activity book tries to command the word in sentences that will have due on happiness. Agree to reading about happiness prior in the world. If it was true or false that arrows were answered. Within the same page, there is a text in which we will choose the right word. You do have current text. On the same page is a series prior where two can complete using the rules of comparative and superlative. On the next page, from a vocabulary of holidays, we will complete the sentences according to the words present. The same with page, unlike this vocabulary, was used on the food of Korea. On this page, I will talk about phrasal verbs in which we will complete the sentences for a given vocabulary. The bottom we will complete the text from word like so. In this page, we make a question to the holiday days seen in class and the book they were made. The next activity was that from text about the king of Bhutan. To analyze it will answer a series of questions. To finish the block 1, a sort of review activities in order to go over everything seen on the block was performed. In the Unit 2 was started asking a series of questions about the sound in the picture. In the next page, we will complete a few sentences from vocabulary included in the reading of the past and present. On the next page, series of comprehension questions on the next were made. Within the page, you underline the existing example in the prior. On the next page, exercises they were made about a prepositional phrase in which we will straight the part in prior. The following activity was completed about the 20th century of Utopia. On the next page, the blanks about the vocabulary of motivation were filled. A series of exercises. From a text about the condition of life in India, prior an analysis of paragraph. From paragraph we were performed. To finish the block 2, a series prior, we were the vocabulary previously seen in world complete activities, and we were going to make sentences we carry out. The last activity was analyzing as is the city of Venice and a great advantage and disadvantage of living there. Generally, we can conclude that we were grant a number of activities, allow use to better apply reading skills that allow use to better understand the text.